Well, good morning, everyone. Where am I at? Oh, there I am. Okay, good. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for the 26th day of August, 2019. Well, I started this once and got quite a ways in and just sort of blanked out. The moon's in Cancer, so emotions are in flux. I have no idea. No idea what happened. Breaking through to new experiences, though, with a 5-point stellium today. We have Venus, Mars, Sun, Juno, and Vulcan, all in the 12th house of endings. So basically, if it feels like a day of fate, maybe just step back and allow, and not try to resist anything today. Just step back. If you're empathic, the moon in Cancer is not going to do well for you. So you might be experiencing your own emotions, but if emotions are in flux for everyone, empaths are going to feel that too. So take your time if you need it and retreat. Just allow yourself to go within and try to find some inner balance and accept what comes up and for the message it gives. And I didn't check into Chiron today to see what it was doing, so I probably should have done that. But some of this may be today with the 5-point stellium, it might be talking about loss of power, or perhaps a change in how we express power, particularly with Mars in that whole mix. With Venus and Juno in there, you're looking at partnerships, and so there could be some issues with respect to partnership today and power and how we express that. Maybe we're transitioning away from one type of experience to another. So, but today's a Monday, so, if you're working magic, this is a moon day, so the moon is influencing. It's about cycles and intuition and femininity and change. With the 8 energy today for the day, you're looking at a unity conscious level of leadership. So, you're looking at harmony that is aware of the greater aspect of self or self in others, basically. Because we don't see an other, we should see the other side of self when we see somebody else. And yet, we're going through that whole isms nonsense that we've been plagued with for so long here. So maybe we're also going to see an end to some of that. We can see the lack of emotional fulfillment we have from something like that, To feel that people are the enemy when they're not, when they're just people trying to make a living, trying to raise their families, trying to just exist in the world, just like we are, to think that there's anything other about them, there just really isn't. Sure, there's individual differences, but collectively, we're all part of the same unified consciousness. We're all aspects of the Creator, focused into form. We're basically spirit inhabiting bodies, so we ought to act that way. Well, in any event, if this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you so much for coming by. And if you've come back, it's nice to see everyone. Click subscribe. I'd love you to do that. And check out the blog over there at imsteppingaside.com called Stepping Aside. It's a witch blog. The weekly Rune and Moon is up. So the runic and human design, I Ching, transits, and all of that factor into that particular reading. And so I'm doing that weekly now, and that's been fun. I like doing that. So that's up for the week. You can check that out over there. And I have not done the daily correspondences. I haven't done Monday's correspondences yet. I've got the dentist appointment today, this afternoon, and so I'm just trying to get all this done, and then I went and did this and had to trash it. So it's like, oh my God. Best laid plans, huh? There's one of the things that I noticed in the 5-point stellium about, and it could have to do with Juno maybe a little bit of Mars, but the idea of maybe we're going to contend with or rethink our position somewhere. It may have to do with expressions of power, especially if we're an authority over someone else, if we're a boss or something, a supervisor or something. Maybe we have to think about how we express power to other people and allow for others to express their own power a little bit more than what we do. You know, sometimes in a business, depending on how you have it structured, if you have it looking like a pyramid with the point at the top, the implication is that the boss is the most important person in the equation, that the people that work for him, that it could be anyone, right? Instead if you turn the pyramid upside down with the wide end at the top and the point at the bottom, then what you're doing is you're saying to the world that I value my employees. I value the idea of hiring people, that I can just then say, here's what I need you to do, now go do it. And trust that it's going to happen. So that may be what's happening today. You know, you may see that the value in stepping back and letting others, you know, own their own process and just getting out of their way a little bit and letting them do that. So there could be some of that happening today, because there's a change from one role to another that I see, and also maybe taking a back seat. You know, it could be in a family, maybe if your kids are growing up and moving away, they're getting married, having kids of their own. The parental role changes. In a sense, it takes a back seat in a way. So you may be experiencing something along those lines. So anyhow, that's what's happening astrologically today. Anyway, let's take our first card and see what we have. Last reading I did, boy, it just really aligned well with the emotionalism of today. So lots of emotional fulfillment. Well, here we start with the Page of Pentacles. So foundation is he's looking toward the future wealth, future tradition, future, you know, having to do with the mundane aspects of life. It's the earth element, so the practical side of life, or the mundane or routine aspects of life. It has to do, you know, just with everything that isn't emotion, will, and intellect. So it's our life here in physical form, isn't it? But this is about new opportunities. So something new on the horizon. And given a Monday day, you know, we'll see. It's a day of change, so maybe too much change with the moon in Cancer, but the pages are not a numbered card. The court cards aren't. Pages are about undeveloped potential and new experiences and messages. But when you deal with the earth element, you know, you're talking about something that's foundational. So something new in that regard. Maybe a new job. Maybe new wealth coming in, an inheritance maybe. Or at least something new that's going to affect, you know, home and hearth, basically. Let's do another card. Oh, well, we have the sun. Bright prospects. 19th card of the major arcana. You're talking a one energy, new beginnings. The sun is returned, the light is returned. You see sunflowers coming up over the backside of that wall. In the back, you see a nude child. You see a white horse. You see the red, well, for lack of a better word, we'll just call it fabric. The orangish red fabric. It's about vitality and the fire element and the sun returning and the light returning, clarity. So maybe whatever is happening with the Page of Pentacles vis-a-vis our foundation, our home, our hearth, our income, maybe, whatever's happening new there, it's going to be something that's positive. And that will, but the thing about the sun is clarity. Maybe there's been some things that we haven't been sure about of late, and now things are starting to be more revealed to us. And we understand the new direction that it's going to take. Let's do a third card. I take the 13th card, but for whatever reason, the process of doing that is not going well for me today. Well, I had this card the first time I did this reading today, and it's the Nine of Swords. Now, what I ultimately ended up doing in the last reading that I trashed is I ended up putting the Nine of Swords first, and I'm going to do that this time. The Nine of Swords is about completion. We just can't take this anymore. This is about nightmares, our thoughts just becoming way too much. But you see an order to them, don't you? Just like you see on the quilt, you see an ordered pattern there. Here's the thing about swords. Swords is the air element, and it's our intellect. How I interpret the Nine of Swords is this is something we're doing to ourselves. These are thoughts coming in that are just too much. Perhaps we're just plaguing our own self, our own emotional well-being with all of these thoughts. Perhaps we've just been focused on things that, we shouldn't be focused on. Maybe it's perception run amok. But here we're gathering it all together and we're getting ready to release it. Let's do this next. So we're going to go, we have a 9, we have a 19. That reduces to 1. 1 and 9 is 10, so we're still at new beginnings. Affecting our foundation. So with the 9 then of Swords, we're basically causing our own grief, essentially. The 8 of Swords, you see a woman blindfolded, bound, with swords all around her. And there is an example of getting in the way, our thoughts getting in the way of our, we're getting in the way of our own thoughts, we'll say that. We're complicating things, we're making things too difficult. And that's really to me, the primary difficulty with the air element is that when we just make things too difficult, we insert ourselves when maybe we should hang back. Today, we're talking with the moon in Cancer, the notion of hanging back if we need to. But with the 9 of Swords, we've caused this for ourselves. In other words, we've caused our own hell. We've been plagued by worry, perhaps, and maybe it's just all based on nothing. So the sun comes in, see, and then we have some illumination, don't we? And some clarity returns. The sun is lighting our way. It's bringing the light is coming back. Awareness is coming back. Truth is coming back. It's a positive card. So whatever was plaguing us in the 9 is over. Again, we have that 5-point stellium in the 12th house today of endings, hidden strengths and weaknesses. We're stronger than we know. We're always stronger than we know. Just when we think, there's nothing left, there's just that one last piece of resolve that's always there. And that's spirit saying, no, you're fine. It's all fine. They're just experiences to have. You give them the meaning that they have. They don't have any intrinsic meaning other than the ones we give it. So we can look at things more neutrally, or we can, look at things with great, great egoic abandon and let personality and ego drive all of that. Or we can let spirit inform it. And that's, I think, what the sun is saying. And then we come to the Page of Pentacles where, undeveloped potential for our foundation. So we get in a new direction. We're going a new path that's more sustainable. Let's do one more card. Well, another page, the Page of Swords. I should have quit while I was ahead. Again, but basically what we're doing here, I'm going to show them both together. Let's get them in the right order here. Okay. What we're talking about undeveloped potential, both in terms of our foundation and in a new direction that we're going. The other page here, the Page of Swords, is standing up on a little, mound, a little precipice, if you will. We see the clouds dissipating in the background as he cuts through anything, preconceived notions about the future. He's just ready to go, isn't he? Leaning into it. So the presence of both the Page of Pentacles and Swords is really talking about undeveloped potential here, and the sky's the limit. We can accomplish anything we want to accomplish. Let's see. I think I put that other rune back. I did. Okay, let me do a rune, though. Yeah, this is looking, I mean, this is as positive as the other one I did. So that was really about emotional fulfillment. But I think the Nine of Swords is aligning well with the 12th house today of endings. Fehu, the first rune of the Elder Futhark, the sending rune, represents cattle and wealth that's movable. But it's also known as a sending rune. So again, a new direction, and having the will and the impetus to make that happen. That would align well then with the sun, wouldn't it? With that particular energy. But let me look here. Where is my magnifying glass? There it is. See if there's something else. Hastening affairs along. Yeah, I mean, it has to do with money matters, and so as well. And so I think that it aligns also with not just the sun, but the Page of Pentacles. Advancing projects and goals to the next phase. Brings motivation and activity, attracts wealth, protects valuables. So I think that whatever worries were plaguing us, perhaps we've discovered that they're really not as bad as we thought, and they're going to resolve themselves. We have some clarity. So some information's coming in today. Also with the Page of Swords, denoting suggesting a new direction. In fact, we might want to put that one first before the Page of Pentacles, because ultimately this is about the earth element or the physical aspects of life. So either a new job, income. So hopefully, whatever I get at the dentist today won't be as enormous as I'm afraid that it's going to be, although it's going to be, but maybe it won't be as bad as I think. So all the worries that I had last night, maybe are over. We have a little bit of clarity with the sun, new information, new direction that helps preserve the foundation. So we can look at it that way. So it's either about my dental visit today, or it's about something else that's foundational in your lives. Just let go of worry. Just let it go, and allow for intuition and to guide you. Allow spirit to inform the process. Let ego go, and let the perceptions go, and start over. Start brand new with nothing, clean slate, and allow that sending energy of Fehu to send you in a better direction in terms of your thought processes, and which ultimately will give you more clarity with respect to something that's maybe happening in your physical life today. So anyhow, let's do a rune here, a geomancy rune to end with. And see, this is an older divination tool if you're not familiar with it. If you've been here before, you are. I do not only a monthly tarot reading on the blog, but I also do a monthly geomancy reading. I love geomancy. And I don't know, I just started doing this one day here, and it just seemed like a thing to do after that. So anyhow, I throw 4 runes down there. I'm going to put them in the order of fire, air, water, and earth. So I have a single dot and a single dot for fire and air. I have a single dot for, oh, well, look at this. Okay. So again, to align with the energy of the 12th house today, and that 5-point stellium, let's see. I'm going to draw this one out for you. When I threw these down, I created Kata Draconis. Now, the Draconis ones, Caput and Kata, have to do with beginnings and endings. They align with the north and south nodes of the moon. Kata is about endings, and it aligns with the past, and not just the past, but tradition, the Akashic record, that type of past life past. Whereas the north node of the moon and Caput Draconis is going to deal with the present moment and the future, our life going forward. It's also known as, Kata is also known as the tail of the dragon versus the head of the dragon. And this is what it looks like. And I've been writing all of these up for the day and posting them over there on the blog, so you can see all of this if you forget any of it. I'm going to go ahead and write it up there too, and I also post and I'll post this video there as well. Or you can watch it here at YouTube. Well, it's going to take you there anyway. But the idea of it aligning with the 12th house today is so fascinating. I think that this must be a day of transition. And given that it's the moon in Cancer, you know, any kind of change can be emotional, right? And so what it's really asking us to do, especially with the focus on retreating, is just allow things to be, allow things to settle out, and see where they are. You don't have to insert yourself into any of the decision making or any of it. You can just wait. You can wait to make a decision. You can wait to think about things before you decide the direction you want to go, but take advantage of the clarity from the sun, to take advantage of the sending energy of Fehu, and allow whatever needs to end to end. Just let it go. The energy is there for that today. You know, our life has only the meaning that we give it. You know, sometimes we all may agree that something's pretty crappy, but we could also agree that we can just have it can be like, oh, okay, yeah, that happened. And give it no more attention than that. Because here it sort of indicates we don't do that, right? They plague us at night and we can't sleep. So I think maybe this ended up being an even more aligned reading with today's energies than maybe even the other one. But whereas the other one was more head and heart, I think this is more head. You know, we get in the way of ourselves. We get in the way of our thoughts. We get in the way of our decisions. Our perceptions cloud things when they really should bring clarity, right? So you have to ask yourself, when things are such a mess, how'd you get there? You know, did spirit do that or did ego? I think we know the answer to that. So in any event, I guess that's really it then for today. Do check out the blog. I'm going to get the correspondences for today up here in a bit. I kind of, because I've got this appointment today, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get everything done and still get there on time. I still have to fill out my paperwork, you know, 9 pages they sent me. Anyway, fortunately, some of it's just stuff to read. So anyway, I guess that's it then. And so yeah, I mean, allow the energies to just sort of take you where they want to go today and observe them. Don't try to interact too much with it. Especially, that was the other thing that I brought up the last time, and I wanted to bring it up this time. When the moon is in Cancer, if you're empathic at all, it tends to affect you, maybe even more strongly. Emotions that are in flux, you're going to feel them from other people, not just your own, but from other people. And so, again, stay out of big crowds. That's really important on a day like today. Particularly if people are going to struggle with this idea of you know, in the 5-point stellium today with Venus, Mars, Sun, Juno, and Vulcan, there's a feeling of, I can't stop this. That's the whole notion of the fated feeling for today. I can't stop this process from happening. And so change is going to happen today, whether you want it to or not. And that's true for everyone else. And so if you're empathic, that's my point here, a long way around, but that's my point, that you have to realize people are going to struggle today against the change. They may not get into the flow of allowing and non-resistance while this process is happening for them. It would be better if they did, but you know, we fight against it, don't we? And so empaths may pick that up. So if things feel a little chaotic, take your time away and don't apologize for it. You owe nobody any explanation. You don't owe anyone an apology for it. It's just your time, and you need to take it, and you need to be calm, and you need to be at peace, because that's more important than anything else. So in any event, I think that this is a positive reading for today. It sounds like we're heading in a little bit different direction than what we've had in the past. Maybe one where we're not getting in the way of it so much. So or letting our perceptions get in the way of things. So that's pretty cool for a Monday. Anyhow, do check out the blog and click subscribe here, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for coming by. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.